Alright, here's Mick here. I'm doing my third oil change on my Victory Impulse TT, and I figured I might as well do a little vlog update on my ownership of this bike. So there's some kind of issues going on with it now. Yeah. So anyway, that's what the oil looks like right there. You saw me just drain it right now. It's not that dirty actually. So this bike has 3,000 mile intervals, oil change intervals for the gearbox. It's not too bad. It uses a fancy kind of oil. It's a 10W30 synthetic for wet clutches. So you have to make sure you have it for a wet clutch. But all I know is so I've kind of gotten used to changing the oil on it. To change the oil on this guy, you need to basically you just drain it and then you put the oil in from the breather hose right here. Makes it easier, so you don't have to put it in through the top. And it kind of acts as a breather hose too. So whether that sucks in some kind of dirt and stuff into the transmission, I don't know. It's hopefully it lets air out but not in. But yeah, that's where we'll be putting the oil in. So this is the first time I'm going to be using the Lucas oil. Let me show you what oil we'll be using this time around. So this is the oil that we'll be using. We'll be using Lucas High Performance Motorcycle Oil, synthetic 10W30. So as long as it's 10W30, it's synthetic and it's formulated for wet clutches. So there we go. So the oil I've been using till now has been like, damn, I don't remember what the oil was called. It was a fancy oil too. This oil is not easy to find, but apparently you can get it at AutoZone. O'Reilly's, yeah, you can get it at O'Reilly's. I found out, so I bought a bunch of O'Reilly's. The good thing is it only goes through a quart, so that's actually not a lot of oil. So I don't mind spending so much money. It's just kind of annoying to have to change, you know, but it's not that hard at all to change. So yeah, there it is. Let's go take a look at the magnet real quick. And so this is my 6,000 mile oil change. Supposed to change it every 3,000. I changed it after 600 miles, and then I changed it after 3,000 miles. Oh no, maybe this might be my fourth. Anyway, so here's the drain plug. It always looks like this when I pull it out. There's always a whole lot of metal flakes in it. I don't know how long it's going to take for that to stop. The transmission has been more than broken in, okay? Hopefully, it's been kind of clunkety lately. I've been feeling like a kind of pulsating kind of feeling from the foot pegs when I'm riding. I don't know what it could be. So yeah. The oil is actually not that dirty, but there's a lot of, like, you can see there's a lot of metallic particles in it, man. It's still breaking in. You know, if you ask me, you probably shouldn't use a synthetic oil to break in the transmission. So it's still breaking in the transmission. So I'm gonna say that, or the transmission is wearing out really fast. I don't know, man. But yeah, as you can see, you know, the oil is actually really clean. There's just a lot of metal particles in it. So I don't know when it's gonna stop doing that. It takes a while, I guess. But this is 6,000 miles. I think I changed it at 600. Did I change it at 600? I think I did change it at 600. I think I changed it at 600, 1,000, and 3,000. So this is probably my fourth oil change, is what I'm thinking. This is my fourth one, and it's the same story every time it comes out. The fluid looks clean, but it's just got like a ton of metal particles in it, you know. And I always have to clean that drain plug a whole lot. So that's that, and then I'll talk about, you know, how the ownership has been with this bike. Okay, so here we are. We're doing our 6,000 mile oil change, and I bought this bike in 2017. This is a 2016 Victory Impulse TT, and this is the 139th one built. Okay, they only made these for 1 year before Victory stopped making them. So sad, really sad. But that's how I wound up with this bike. They went out of business. So had they not have gone out of business, I would probably be riding a zero right now. So yeah. So this is my first electric motorcycle, and you know what? I love it. This is a great bike, man. It's my first American bike too, and so for the most part, I haven't really had any problems with this bike until now. So and it's kind of frustrating. I feel that, like, you know, the complexity of the cooling system and the gearbox and all that stuff, it just, like, you know, at some point it's going to cause you problems. It's like, is what I'm going to say, you know. And it's just like, it's become, I've been noticing it's becoming a problem where, like, you know, oils are starting to leak and coolant is starting to leak. You know, if you got a zero motorcycle, you don't have any of that stuff. Everything is passive air cooled, you know. Which is good, and it's a good thing and it's a bad thing, you know. For performance wise, it's not really a good thing. I'm telling you this, I've taken this bike to the racetrack, you know, and I've never had it pull power on me, you know, thermal cutback. It's never overheated or anything because the motor is water cooled. So I've never had it overheat and try to, you know, pull power back. At least not that I've noticed, you know. It seemed fine, you know, as long as the battery's got the power in it, you know. Now, I did recently take it to a track day at the beginning of the year. I rode it at Sears Point or Infineon Raceway. And it was cool. This bike is great on the track. That's what this bike was designed for, man. It was designed to race. It was designed as a race bike, you know, type of thing. It's not, you know, it's not the most racy of bikes, but man, I'm telling you, the components on this bike and the suspension, it really shines on the track, especially with those Brembo brakes. You know, you really appreciate those Brembo brakes on the track. You know, I was passing a good amount of bikes on the track, you know. It's because this thing, you know, it corners really good, you know. That being said, it's a little bit on the heavy side, 475, but for electric motorcycle, that's actually not that heavy. So you just got to get used to the weight. I feel it's a little too small for me. I can't seem to have the right riding ergonomics on this. It always feels kind of awkward for me riding it, but it still handles really good, you know. I feel like I'm just kind of plowing into the turn, sort of, you know, type of thing when I ride it. I've also noticed that, like, you've got to hang off. You've got to hang off the seat if you know, if you want to get the right kind of, you know, stance on it, type of deal. It's designed to, like, hang, at least for someone of my size, you're gonna want to hang off all the time. And it feels like it's hard for me to counter steer on this bike. I have to kind of, like, force it, sort of. One thing interesting I noted is you can ride this bike supermoto style, like elbow up and leg out, you know. Yeah, you can ride it like that. I rode it like that yesterday, so it was kind of funny. I just kind of just like, yeah, let's see if we can do it. And you could do it. It's just, like, kind of low for it, you know. Yeah, the bike is kind of low, but you could totally do it. It just feels kind of weird and looks weird. That's what I say. So the aerodynamics on this bike, I'm not a big fan of. It's okay, but even with the windscreen, it's a very noisy bike, man. It's just the aerodynamics is just not good on this bike, as compared to like let's say I have a DR650 with a tall windscreen, you know, and it's much quieter than this bike here. So especially even this KLR 650, like it's kind of got like a fairing kind of on front and a big windscreen. Even with the windscreen on this bike, it's still pretty loud. I'm not happy with the aerodynamics on this bike. It's just I think the problem is the front is, like, super naked, and, like, the wind comes up under you know. There's not enough wind protection on the bottom of the bike, type of thing. So that's the deal with that. But yeah, man, I love this bike. It's a great bike, man. It's 6 speeds. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really use the 6th gear a whole lot, man. Now, if I'm riding it really fast, like on a racetrack or something, yeah, I'll probably get it into the 5th gear. This has a 13-tooth sprocket. It normally has a 14-tooth sprocket. I changed it so you can get a little bit more, use the gears a little more, you know. In my opinion, I think the right amount of gears you would want on an electric bike is probably 4. 1, 2, 3, and then your 4th gear is like an overdrive. This one is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th gear is your overdrive. So, and I never use the 6th gear, dude. You're gonna be like close to 100 miles an hour when you're in 6th gear, you know. What's the fastest I've gone on this, man? I'd have to say probably around 100 miles an hour. I don't think I've quite hit its top speed. Like, I think you can do, supposedly you can do 120 on this bike, but I don't think I've ever hit it, you know. It won't get up there really fast, I'll tell you that. You'd have to have a long enough straight to get it to 120 and like tuck really good, and yeah, that type of thing. So that being said, it's not the fastest electric bike out there. Where it falls in the power category, like let's say you were to compare it to like a Zero bike, it would be between a Zero S and a Zero SR. I know the SR is faster because I ridden an SR before, and I follow them. I ride with them at the track, you know, on the track days, and I can keep up. Yeah, I can keep up with the Zero bikes, but like it's hard for me to pass them. Like I have to really work for it. I have to pass them in the corners, type of thing, because like on the straights, I just don't have enough power to overtake them. You know, I'm always like either neck and neck, or they're pulling on me a little bit. You know. If you compare this to an Energica, the Energica just blows this bike away. It's just, there's no way this bike can keep up with the Energica. That's a legit electric super bike, you know. This is more like along the lines of like a super sport or something. Like it's got a like about 500 or 600 cc type power, you know. Which is it's still good, you know. I like it. Suspension is real good. I haven't really had many maintenance issues with it until now, okay? So I'm not going to fire it up because I just drained the oil out of it. I'm just letting it drain right now so I can refill it. Changing the oil isn't too bad. That's about the only maintenance you really have to do. And then like somewhere along the line, you've got to change the coolant. That's at like 18,000 miles. I'm not even close to there yet. And supposedly you're supposed to change the fork oil every 2 years or every 8,000 miles or something. So, it's been more than 2 years. So, I probably want to start bleeding the brakes too. So the brake fluid in the reservoir is looking a little yucky. Yeah, it's a little dark. It's really dark. So I'm probably going to want to start bleeding the brakes and all that good stuff. But yeah, I like the amount of regen braking on this bike in sport mode. I feel it's just right. It's just the right amount. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's just right. I like. If anything, it would be nice if it had a little bit more, but I'm pretty happy with it. You know. Yeah. So the official time I got on this bike, I think, is like 2:07 at Laguna Seca. So that's my official time that I put down with this bike. I feel this bike could get into 2 minutes. I'm pretty sure you can do 2 minutes on this bike, because I think the other Impulses, that's what they're getting. So you just need a better rider, and you know you shouldn't get stuck behind Zero FX on your timed lap. I got stuck behind this Zero FX, man, and I had to pass it, and I had to slow down, man. So that I wish I got another run. But that, and also I have overheated the battery on this, and it sucks when it overheats. When it overheats and it gets heat soaked, man, it's so hard to cool it down, man. I tried to do the thing with the fan, you know. I don't think I had a powerful enough fan or something, and basically what happens when it gets too hot, when the battery gets too hot, it cuts your regen off. This is what happens. Your regen turns off, and you're just like, oh, what the hell? I need to brake now. Yeah, but yeah, just use when the regen comes off, then you know, just be ready for it. Be ready to get on those brakes, because he doesn't make it use the regen a lot. I'm one of those riders that I like the regen, you know. So yeah, I'm also getting a system fault, B9 fault on this bike. Before it used to be kind of intermittent. You get it every once in a while, and then it would just more and more it would come on, you know. And now it's pretty much, it just stays on all the time almost. I believe that has something to do with like moisture in the battery or something. There's moisture in the battery, and I don't keep this bike outside. I don't keep it out in the rain most of the time. I think when I took it to the track, I got it real wet, you know, but because there was like a lot of dew and stuff. But other than that, I haven't really. I've been keeping it garaged for most of its life. So it's 2020 now, and this is a 2016 model, so it's like about 4 years old now. It's starting to show its age a little bit. I can tell you this bike gets about 60 miles range if you ride it, mixed riding. That's how far you'll get, which is, it's okay, It has an onboard level 2 charger, but it only charges at 3 kilowatts. And I'll tell you this, if you got time to charge, it's okay. If you don't, if you need to get somewhere, it's not okay. So don't plan to get anywhere, you cannot do much motorcycle touring with this. But it is a joy to ride around, and it is a joy to ride around in the twisties and stuff. I can ride it anywhere around, anywhere around where the city I live, and I can go up and do the twisties and all that stuff, and then go back home and then charge, or charge, that type of thing. That being said, my next electric bike will have a DC fast charger. It's like it's just sitting around waiting for your bike to charge it's agonizing, man. It's agonizing. If you're watching your bike charge, it's agonizing. And then trying to keep the battery cool when you're charging it, it's tough too. But that's only if you're at the racetrack. That's the only time I really pushed this bike to the limit, was when I took it to that racetrack that one time. Even at Laguna Seca, it never gave me any problems. But I was giving it a lot of breaks in between ride grips, ride sessions. So yeah. So that's kind of like the experience. Oh yeah. So there is one problem that I'm having right now, and I'll show you some probably better pictures of it. But I've developed a leak here. It's kind of hard to see, but there is there's coolant coming out of there. There's some kind of yellow liquid coming out right there. I'm pretty sure it's coolant, because when I touched it, it feels like it feels kind of sticky. I should probably taste it to see if it's sweet. but yeah, it feels like coolant is what it is. Like when I put it on my finger and I move it around, actually this is oil right here. See, the oil is kind of black. And this is the coolant right here. I've been catching it on this thing here, and it just started doing it now, just as it hit 6,000, and the warranty went out on this thing last year, because it's like, I think I've had the bike like 3 years already, so I got no more warranty on it. So what the heck, man? That's funny. Like something would happen to the bike after the warranty just expires after a year. So. It's Hades Omega's fault. He hasn't been riding the bike enough, man. You should be able to put more miles on this bike, dude. I haven't had any problems with the chain. I never have to really adjust it at all. I take care of it, Yeah, I haven't really had any problems with the chain. For some reason, the master link on this. Let's see if I can. Oh boy, it's in gear. It's hard to move. Where's the master link? Where you heading, buddy? You can tell there'll be one link that's like kind of weird, a weird direction, right there. So there's the master link. The master link, for some reason, is kind of frozen right here. I think when they riveted this chain on, they riveted it too tight, man, because it always stays in one position type of thing. So that kind of has me worried. But other than that, the chain is fine, I hadn't have any problems with the sprockets or anything. The sprockets still look fine. I think the front sprocket still looks fine too, yeah. So, yeah, I haven't had any problems with the suspension. The seat on this bike, not the most comfortable, but I have an air seat on it, But yeah, I love this bike, man. So we got the coolant leak on it, so I don't know what we're gonna do, man. Because it's kind of sucks that it's leaking coolant now. But yeah. So if I kind of touch this, I think it's coolant, because look, it's clear and it's like kind of like a rust color. If I touch it, yeah, it's kind of oily, but it's not. It's a little sticky, is when it feels like oily and sticky, whereas. Let me go. So this is oil that came from the drain plug. You know what? It almost does feel the same. And it is a little bit sticky. Could be oil. But it's definitely not the same color. Look at how clear that is, It's this one has a little more viscosity to it. Yeah, I don't think that's oil. Maybe it's oil and water. I didn't think about that. It could be combined. It could be both. Well, I don't think it would look like that. It would leave a different color. It would be kind of like a grayish color. But yeah, what I might do is take it to my local Victory Indian Polaris dealer and have them look at it, you know, see what they think, see if they can do anything about it, you know. But what I heard is there's like an O-ring back here. I got to take this whole side cover thing off here. I got to disconnect the power to the motor because the motor is back here. Basically, there's a kind of like a jacket here that goes around the motor, and then it shoots. There's a water pump, and it pumps water around this case here, and then there's another outlet out there, and it sticks it in, and then it shoves it out over there. That's the way it works. And supposedly I guess it's leaking under here, so there must be some kind of gasket or something leaking around here, and it's hard to find parts for this bike. That's another what the heck about this bike, man. It's hard to find parts because they don't sell the bike anymore, man. And I kind of knew that. I kind of knew that I was going to have that kind of problem. So it's kind of annoying. Hopefully we can find the parts that we need for it. So yeah, that's some of the issues I've been having with the bike, but you know, it's been a great bike. I had the suspension tuned at a suspension shop, and it handled even better. Like it'll change direction really fast now, you know, much faster than it did before, you know. You didn't have to really fight the bike as much, but I feel it's kind of fighting sometimes. And yeah, you could definitely, if you kind of forcefully push on the bar, you'll feel the bike just lean over more. So, which is kind of cool. But then, yeah, you really should hang off with the bike. But it's a great bike. I really don't want to get rid of it. If I was to get another electric bike right now, I would get an Energica Eva SS, I think. That's the bike I would get. I rode one and I really liked it, but I still like this. I still like this bike. It's pretty lightweight for an electric bike, you know, where the Energicas are really heavy, but they got a lot of power. So I don't know, but they get that fast charger. So, but I'm still really happy with this bike. You know, I can't do it. I can't go very long distances with it. That's the only drawback. You know, that charger is just not. It's not good to do like street touring with this bike. I would totally go for a longer rides on it if I could. You know, so. But unfortunately I can't. If I want to go on a longer ride, so I have to take a different bike. Usually I'll take my KLR is what I'll do. So, yeah, it's a bummer, man. That's the only thing you can't do on this bike is go long distances. But 60 miles is enough to get me, you know, to most places where I'm going. But if I really need to go to distance, this bike will not do it. Like, yeah, you can stop at a charger and charge, but it'll be like an all day affair type thing, you know. Yeah, I think if you could double the charging speed, that's what Hayes Omega was trying to do. I was trying to get those DigiNow Super. Yeah, I was trying to get one of those or two of those DigiNow superchargers, or get a 6 kilowatt charger upgrade for this bike. But you know, I don't know how to install one, and I don't know how to, you know, I don't know where I can get one type of thing. I'm just Hayes Omega is just not that tech savvy enough to install a better charger on this bike, you know. But I think this bike would have been a lot better if they had put a 6 kilowatt onboard charger with it. It's just like 3 kilowatts, it's not fast enough to go longer distances. I think if you could double the charging speed with a 6 kilowatt charger, I think it would be okay for like to do that kind of stuff. But this bike takes about maybe 3 or 4 hours to charge when it's pretty low. If you were to cut that in half, you know, it'd be like what 2 hours. It's still a lot. It's still a lot, but it's still a lot, but it's a lot better if you can double the charging rate. But that's why I'm saying, like, yeah, my next bike, it's gotta have DC fast charging, man. And the Empulse can do it. The battery packs, you know, they're not the right kind of voltage for that. So, but I like this bike a whole lot. It's not the fastest electric bike out there. It's not the fastest bike, but it sure is a joy to ride, you know, I'll tell you that. So hopefully I can get these issues with the coolant leaking or oil, whatever that is. I'm changing the gearbox oil right now because it's 6,000 miles. So I figured, hey, let's do an update video, you know, on how it's been owning this bike, and I like it a whole lot, man. I wish they still sold this bike, you know, sell it as an Indian, you know, something. Or Polaris. Why doesn't Polaris make motorcycles, you know? I'll just have a Polaris electric motorcycle. It's a great bike, man. I think Victory did a good job on it, you know. It would have been nice if they continued to sell this bike and to improve upon it, you know. There's a couple things that I would like to improve, you know. One thing is I wish it had a better seat. I wish it had some luggage options, which I think there were, but like, since they don't, you know, sell this bike anymore, it's really hard to find any kind of luggage stuff for this bike. It would have been nice to like maybe have like removable battery pack, you know, or just a DC fast charger. If they could have revamped the whole battery system so it can handle a DC fast charge, would have been nice. It's, in my opinion, it looks a lot better than the Zero bikes. Yeah, it's a nice looking bike. I like it. I like it a whole lot. I have not had to change the tires yet. I think they're getting pretty close. They must be like about 50% right now after 6,000 miles. I'm getting a flat spot on the back, so that's the thing. So I'm getting a flat spot because these aren't dual compound tires. These are like Hyperbike tires or something. They're really sticky though, I'll tell you that. These tires have never let me down. And the front wears out it wears evenly, the front actually. The whole thing wears out. So, you know, you can see some of the boogers from the track day right here. But yeah, I've been able to lean the front over to the edge, you know. Whereas the back, there's still plenty of meat. There's still plenty of meat over here, you know. I've leaned it over all the way, but it's just still plenty of meat on the side because we're just not cornering enough, you know. The compound is too soft. It's a single compound tire, you know. If I was to get new tires for this bike, probably some Bridgestone Evos or something. I would like to stick with the Continentals, but they're really expensive, you know. Or some Dunlop Q3 or Q4. Okay, so yeah, so that's my story of my Victory Impulse. I've owned it 3 years. Yeah, I've owned it 3 years, a little more than 3 years, and I hope to own it for a long more time. I don't really want to get rid of this bike, you know. I've got a trunk for it also, where this dirty piece of underwear is on this rack here, is normally a trunk. So, and I like having the trunk on this bike. It's a great. I really love having a trunk on the bike, man. It makes the bike look ugly, but you know. It's really handy to have a trunk to be able to put stuff in the trunk. So, and I did have a problem with this. This is a custom made rack, by the way. I did have a problem with it cracking before, but the dude that fabricated it, he helped fix it. So there's a crack right there that they fix. And thus far, it looks like I haven't been able to crack anything else, so that's good. Yeah, so not bad. I really like this bike. I think it was a great purchase, you know, especially for how much I got it for. If I don't know, I will just ride it till it doesn't ride anymore, you know. But that's the coolant leak thing is like that's a safety concern. If it gets worse and it just starts pissing water or oil on the road and you can get on the tire, it's really dangerous. So I gotta get that squared away right away. But as it stands, after 6,000 miles in 3 years, I really haven't had to do much maintenance on the bike. Tires are still good. I'm doing the 4th oil change right now. It kind of sucks that you have to change oil on this bike, and you have to change it as much as like a regular motorcycle. But really, you only go through 1 quart. So, and it's a hard to find oil too, by the way. So it's not some common oil that you'll find, you know. yeah, and one thing I don't like about the bike is it's the gearbox. I don't like the gearbox. It's clunkety. I don't mind there being gears. I don't mind there shifting. You know, I actually like it. It's very unique for the bike. You know, it's very nice. You kind of ride it different than a normal motorcycle, but you're still shifting gears. You know, yeah. I don't like the clunkety gearbox. It's just, you know, there's this section here. Watch this. There's a section. See that? See that? It's like about a half inch of play or an inch of play right there before you can hear that clunk. So there's a clunk there, and there's a clunk right there. It's like the gearbox rotates like about an inch or something before it actually engages. You know, there's like a dead spot in there. I don't know if they engineered it that way, but I don't like it. I don't like it because it's jerky. You know. When you get on the throttle, boom, you know, if you get off the throttle and on the throttle, it clunks, you know, and I don't like that. It upsets the bike's balance, you know. It's so that makes the bike hard to ride when you're riding it slow, is what in my opinion. That's why I wouldn't want to do Gymkhana on this bike, because it does that. Also, if there was something I would improve on this bike, I would add a quick shifter to the bike. It would be nice to have a quick shifter on this bike, so, you know, it would, like, you know, cut power to the motor for a second and then go to the next gear. That being said, it shifts into the next gear, like it upshifts into the next gear without the clutch really well. It's just really fast, boom, 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 boom. But you have to, you know, you have to always unload the transmission manually. You gotta let off, shift, and then go back up. That's how I do it all the time. But when you downshift, I always use the clutch, so. That's the only time I use the clutch, but when I downshift. So, yeah. So that's the only reason I would use the clutch. I never slip the clutch. I don't pop any wheelies or anything on this bike. But you can because I know there's a stunt rider dude that rides one of these, man. They rides one. They use them for Cirque du Soleil, man. Check them out. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So what would I improve? Aerodynamics. I wish I had better aerodynamics. Obviously, I wish I had more range. I wish I had a quick shifter. It needs a better seat. Yeah, I talked about the aerodynamics, and it needs faster charging. Now, yeah. Ideally, I would want a bike that can do like 100 miles mixed riding. So this is like 60 miles mixed riding. So, you know, it's you're getting there, but not quite. You know, just if you could add an extra 40 miles to that, you know. That would be cool, you know, and that's why I'm thinking, you know, the new Energica bikes with the 21 kilowatt hour battery packs, you know, I think that would be the ticket right there. You could definitely get more than 100 miles on that guy, and it has fast charge capability, so this doesn't. So if I can get 100 miles range, like, you know, riding it like a normal motorcycle, just like, you know, just ride it like a normal motorcycle, you know, and I could fast charge it, you know. Get most of the charge back in like 30 minutes, I would be happy. You know, that would be like the perfect electric bike for me. And then yeah, they have luggage options. I already got the trunk on this. I don't really want to put anything else on this bike, to tell you the truth. You know, but it would be nice to have some kind of little compartment to put like tools or emergency stuff. That this bike doesn't have anything like that. The gears. I feel that I don't need a 6 gear. Cut 1 or 2 gears off. Give me a 4 or 5 speed gearbox. I never use that 6 gear, so it would be nice if we had one less gear, you know, at least 1 or 2 less gears. I think like the 4 speed gearbox would be right on the money, pretty much. Basically, I ride in first gear around town, you know. It'll get me up to like 45 miles an hour, and then when I want to go on the freeway, I go up to second and then third. Keep it in third. If I want to go like 70 miles an hour, I'll keep it in fourth, you know. And if I want to go past that, maybe I'll put it in fifth. But like you're going already past like 80 miles an hour, so yeah. So I'm thinking four gears is all you need. 4 gears is all you need. That would be good, you know, if they put a 4-speed gearbox in here with a quick shifter. So yeah. Those are the things I would improve on this bike. But I really like this bike. It's really grown on me. I really like it. I like riding this bike in the summertime. I'll tell you this, riding an electric bike when it's warm is great, man, because it doesn't generate any heat. Now when it's cold, one thing is you get reduced range when it's cold, and two, like the bike doesn't generate any heat, so you're just, you know, it doesn't keep you warm. But in the summer days, it doesn't make you hot. So that's why I would rather ride this in the warmer weather, you know. It's a better warmer weather bike type of thing. So, but yeah, for some reason it likes really warm weather. I've ridden it 80, 90 degrees, you know, and it seems to run better when it's warmer. To tell you that, like warmer. Maybe if it was like 100 degrees, it might complain, but yeah, you know, it's a great bike, and I really like to continue riding it. So let's hope I can get that leak fixed. But other than that, I haven't really had any major problems besides that system fault B9 that I'm having. I got to figure out how I can. I heard that like you can just ignore that. It doesn't really mean anything. It's always like that, you know. It would have been nice if you know, Victory kept on selling these and they kept on improving them. Another thing I would like is a Regen Throttle. I wish this had a Regen Throttle. Like I have a I have a Suron Light B here, and this has a Regen Throttle. I have a custom controller on it that has a Regen Throttle on the left side of the handlebar. So this is basically like my third brake, you know. I got your front brake here and your rear brake here, and then this is your variable regen throttle. So that way you can have a lot of regen and you could be able to control it, you know. It wouldn't be like too much regen. You can progressively roll on the regen. I want something like that for this. Like I said, the regen is great on this bike. I think they tuned it really good. It's just right. It's not too much, not too little, but it would be nice to have a Regen Throttle on this bike, because that thing has spoiled me. I'm gonna tell you now, that thing has spoiled me. I rarely use the brakes on that one. This one, you'll start to come to a stop, you'll roll off and it'll regen, and then maybe the last like couple feet, then you have to get on the brakes, you know, to just finally stop it, you know. All right, so yeah, thanks for watching. That's my vlog. Sorry, it's kind of long, but yeah, that's my vlog. My 6,000 miles, 3 years ownership of the number 139 Empulse TT. I really like it, and I really want to keep it. So we'll see if we can get it fixed. All right, but for now we just changed the oil because it could use one. All right, here's my go.